Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's February 4th. Right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see BC, Washington, Oregon, California. I mean, just look at this monster impacting California. Just all kinds of craziness going on down there. But this will be spreading some moisture up across Oregon and potentially the Washington Cascades here. And it's going to bring some windy conditions for some of eastern Oregon as well and some of southern Oregon Cascades, probably. And then we turn our eyes to a system dropping down out of the northwest. So that has some snow potential with it as well. And we're going to look at some of those details here as we go through the video this morning. If we take a look at the Doppler radar, you can see some of that moisture trying to spread its way northward. So hopefully that can bring us a few inches here because things are pretty sparse across our snowpack across BC, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. Some of the southern, southeast areas of Oregon are doing okay, but most of that snow water equivalent is across the Cascades, and BC is not doing well. This atmospheric river was not kind to our snowpack, as you guys know. Here's the gusty winds. You can see Northern California, Klamath Falls, pretty gusty out there. And you can see Lakeview, 43 miles per hour, gust of 50 out there. There are some wind advisories in effect all the way up towards the Blue Mountains. And here we go with some snowfall amounts. This is basically from this morning all the way into tomorrow morning. So there is some snow potential here, just not a lot of it. The main storm is going to be impacting California. The wind advisory, again, for the Blue Mountains, gust to 50 miles per hour. Nothing too crazy, but gusty winds. You could run into those. If we take a look at the most recent European model, you can see the California storm spreading some of that moisture up to the north here. So hopefully we can squeeze a few inches of that as that low pressure center fills right on the Oregon coastline. And then the Europeans actually been trending a little bit better with this next system rolling in here. So that could bring us a few inches, maybe even a foot or more for some areas, especially across the Oregon Cascades here. So cross your fingers for this one. We need these snowmakers here because things are getting a little sparse. Looks like the El Nino doldrums are kind of setting in here across the Pacific Northwest. If we take a wider view of things here on the GFS hot off the presses, you'll see that moisture spreading up northward from the California storm, and then that system comes out of the northwest, and you kind of see the models flipped a little bit. Yesterday it was the European bringing that a little bit further south, and today it's the GFS, and the Europeans trending a little bit north here. So we're still lacking that model consistency as that dives down towards California, but it does bring some onshore flow, maybe a little bit of snowfall associated with that. Then we go off into the future. You can kind of see a decaying front just falls apart and moves down the coastline there. Not a big deal. And look at this. We're just kind of looking at, again, the El Nino doldrums here. Maybe some kind of system forms off here, but still not a dynamic weather maker. However, in the extended forecast, as always, we're looking 300 hours out for a deep low pressure center off the coastline there. We can't take that seriously at this point. Here we go. Total snow on last night's European model. So you can see California getting hammered there. The Oregon Cascades, a little bit better than the Washington Cascades, but it does bring some snowfall, maybe even up towards portions of eastern BC, across some of the Intermountain West. And then the next storm arrives here, and not a big snowmaker, but like I said, we'll take anything we can get. If it wants to drop a foot on some of the Washington Cascades and Oregon Cascades, we will definitely take it. But you can see the lower amounts here across some of western BC where the snowpack was really damaged. And looking at Seattle yesterday, 51 degrees. The normal high for this time of year is 49, so a little bit above average here. And I talked about that yesterday, those record lows from 1950. Also, I lived this cold snap back there in 1989. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row with record lows, 7 degrees. I remember being out and about that night. It was just a youngster out there, and it was very cold, and we had some big snowdrifts even in the Seattle proper. So yeah, interesting stuff there way back in 1989 and 1950. And here's looking at the snow tell. Look at the Olympic Mountains, only 31%. A lot of areas around 65, 58, 50%, not doing too hot. Oregon doing a little bit better here, but still below average for much of the state. Similar thing here for Idaho. The southern portion is doing better. And this is British Columbia tetrahedron. I think that's how you pronounce it. And look at the snowpack. It just looks kind of compressed and miserable out there. No snow on the trees, and probably about 30% of normal, or 28% normal, I think is what it shows here. Yeah, currently British Columbia, snowpack levels not good. And we look off into the future here. This is last night's European model run. And if you remember yesterday, I talked about that Arctic air showing up in some of the extended runs here. and it's not really showing up anymore. And that's what I mentioned, that it might just be taken away in some of the future model runs going out towards 10 days. You see no sign of it. If we do back this up, though, you can kind of see that California storm there, and then this one coming out of the northwest, trying to bring a little bit of mountain snow with it as well. But we'll watch that one here for the next few days. Hopefully we can squeeze some moisture out of that for our mountains. Here's the overall winter storm impacts with that storm riding up, and again, mainly just minor, maybe some moderate impact for some select higher terrain locations. A little bit better there across some of the higher terrain of Idaho and on in through maybe towards Yellowstone as well. But yeah, a big storm out there. Hopefully that can bring some snow for us, and maybe this system will start to trend a little bit better in the models. I like that the European kind of trended more right into BC and Washington State with that, but still, it's not a huge snowmaker here. And, once we get into these El Nino years, we can really end up being warm February, March, and April, especially significantly so, actually. We still will get some precipitation and some mountain snow at times, but, we're already behind in the snowpack across a lot of the region here, so it's kind of concerning looking at some of those extended model runs. But anyway, we'll check back daily, we'll cross our fingers, and we'll try to get some storm systems back in there as if we had any control over it. But anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow. I'll probably do I'll do my California video tomorrow morning, and then another briefing here as well. So, hopefully you guys can check out the California videos if you have any concerns or family down there as well. But anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.